So, my son, Liam, you've seen the pictures on my fridge. The little blonde boy with the gap-toothed smile, the one holding a fish he didn't actually catch, that's him. He was always a good kid. A little too eager to please, maybe. A little too desperate to be liked. I used to think that was sweet. Now I think it was the first red flag I missed. After his dad died, it was just us, just the two of us against the world. I thought nothing could ever come between us. I thought we were unbreakable. I thought the bond between a mother and son, especially one who'd lost his father, was sacred, invincible, the kind of thing that could survive anything. I was wrong. Let me back up a little, give you the full picture. My husband, David, God, I don't even talk about him anymore. It's been so long. But he was something else. 6'2", hands that could build anything, a laugh that filled up a whole room. He used to sing off-key in the shower and didn't care who heard him. He brought me coffee in bed every single morning for 15 years. Every single morning. We met at a diner. I was a waitress, he was a regular. He came in every Tuesday for the meatloaf special, and every Tuesday he'd try to make me laugh. It took him 6 months to ask me out, took him another 3 to propose. I said yes before he even finished the sentence. We had 15 years together. 15 years. That's it. That's all we got. December 17th. That's the day he died. A Friday. He was coming home from his office Christmas party. He didn't even want to go, but his boss made him. He'd had 2 beers over 4 hours. He was completely sober. He was driving the speed limit. He had his seatbelt on. He did everything right. And some drunk bastard in a black SUV ran a red light and plowed into the driver's side door. Didn't even hit the brakes, didn't even slow down, just kept going. David died on impact. They told me he didn't suffer. I don't know if that made it better or worse. The police never found who did it. No witnesses, no cameras. The SUV was stolen and dumped in a river 3 towns over. The case went cold after 6 months. I used to call the detective every week for the first year, then every month, then every anniversary. Then I just stopped. Because what was the point? Liam was 12 years old. 12! He held my hand at the funeral and said, "Don't worry, Mom. I'll take care of you now." And I believed him. I really did. I worked 2 jobs for years, sometimes 3. I put myself through night school so I could get a better job. I put Liam through college, took out loans I'm still paying off. I went to every soccer game, every parent-teacher conference, every school play. I made sure he had birthday parties and Christmas mornings and a mom who showed up. I thought I was building something, a life, a family, a future. I didn't know. I was just building a taller cliff to fall off of. Okay, fast forward. Liam is 28 when he meets Sienna. He's working at a marketing firm downtown. She comes in as a consultant on some big project. He calls me the night they meet and says, "Mom, I just met the most incredible woman." I remember exactly what he said. She's smart, she's funny, she's gorgeous. And she laughed at my jokes, like really laughed, not the polite kind. I was happy for him. Thrilled, actually. He'd had some bad relationships before, a girl who'd cheated on him, another who tried to isolate him from his friends. So the fact that he was excited about someone, that was good. That was progress. I met Sienna about 3 months in. They came to my house for dinner. She brought flowers, peonies, my favorite. She complimented my cooking, asked about my day, listened like she actually cared. She helped me do the dishes without being asked. She told stories that made Liam laugh so hard he snorted. I remember thinking, this girl is a keeper. Didn't know she was a keeper of secrets. The engagement happened after a year. Liam proposed on a rooftop at sunset. Sienna posted the video on Instagram. She was very into Instagram. I watched it about 50 times, cried every single time. The wedding planning took another year, a whole year of dress shopping and venue tours and cake tastings and guest lists and seating charts. Sienna included me in everything. She'd text me at 10 p.m. with pictures of centerpieces. She'd call me on my lunch break to ask my opinion on invitation fonts. She made me feel important, made me feel like I was part of something. I didn't know she was gathering information. I didn't know she was cataloging my weaknesses, my triggers, my soft spots, the anniversaries that made me cry, the songs that make me miss David, the way my voice cracked when I talked about the accident. She was taking notes the whole time, and I was just handing her the pen. The rehearsal dinner was on a Friday, October 13th. I remember thinking that was a bad omen, but I told myself I was being silly. The manor was beautiful, all exposed wood and chandeliers and a big stone fireplace. The caterer was someone Sienna had insisted on, $300 a plate. I paid for half. The dinner went perfectly. Toasts were made, tears were shed, champagne was drunk. Liam gave a speech about how Sienna had saved him from loneliness. Sienna gave a speech about how Liam had shown her what real love looked like. I gave a speech about how blessed I was to be gaining a daughter. Everyone clapped, everyone cried, everyone hugged. Then the dinner ended. Guests started drifting into the next room for coffee and dessert. I stayed behind to help the caterer clear plates. Force of habit. I can't sit still. Never could. That's when Sienna walked in. She was still in her ivory rehearsal dress, hair still perfect, heels still clicking. She looked like she'd just stepped out of a magazine. "Elaine," she said, "can I talk to you for a minute? Privately." I said, "Of course, sweetheart. Are you okay? You look a little pale." She smiled, that perfect smile. "I'm fine. Better than fine, actually. I'm great." She looked toward the doorway to make sure no one was listening. Then she stepped closer. Real close. Close enough that I could smell her perfume. Gardenias. Same as me. She'd started wearing it after I mentioned it was my favorite. I thought it was such a sweet, thoughtful gesture. Now I know it was a reminder, a little inside joke she was playing on herself. Every time I smelled gardenias and thought of her fondly, she was winning. She put a hand on my arm, gentle, motherly, like she was about to comfort me. Then she leaned into my ear and she whispered, "Remember the hit and run that killed your husband, the one that was never solved?" My heart stopped. I mean that literally. I felt it skip, like someone had reached into my chest and squeezed. Before I could respond, she kept going. Her voice was soft, almost sweet, like she was telling me a bedtime story. That was my father, Kenneth Vance. He was coming home from his company Christmas party. He'd had a lot to drink, more than a lot. He didn't even see your husband's car until it was too late. He felt the impact. He knew what he'd done. And he didn't stop. He just drove home, parked in the garage, and went to bed like nothing happened. I tried to pull back. I tried to move, but her grip on my arm tightened. Just a little, just enough to keep me there. "Liam has known for 2 years," she continued. "I told him 6 months into our relationship. He was devastated, of course. He cried, he screamed, he threw a lamp against the wall. He didn't leave his apartment for a week. I thought he was going to leave me." She paused, smiled against my ear. "But he didn't. He came back. And he said, 'I love you. I don't want to lose you. What your father did isn't your fault.' And he swore he'd never tell you. He's kept that promise for 2 years, Elaine. Every single day, every single meal, every single hug, every time you talked about David and cried, he knew the truth, and he said nothing." She finally let go, stepped back, smiled that perfect, poisonous smile. "I just thought you should know who's walking down the aisle tomorrow and who your son really is." I still couldn't move. I couldn't speak. I just stood there, frozen, watching her. She tilted her head. "Aren't you going to scream?" "I was hoping for a scream. Maybe throw something? Liam said you had a temper when you were younger. I've been looking forward to this for months." That's when I noticed it. The gleam in her eye, the slight flush on her cheeks. She wasn't confessing out of guilt or conscience. She was enjoying this. This was entertainment for her, a show. I was the show. And something in me just clicked off, like a switch, like all the emotion I should have felt, the rage, the grief, the betrayal, it just drained out of me, left me hollow, left me calm. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I didn't even shake. I just looked at her, really looked. And for the first time, I saw past the perfect face and the charming smile and the expensive dress. I saw what she really was. Not a woman, not a person, something else, something empty. I looked past her, toward the dining room, where I could see Liam through the doorway. He was pouring champagne for his new father-in-law, Kenneth Vance, the man who killed my husband. They were laughing, toasting. Kenneth had his hand on Liam's shoulder like they were old friends. My son and my husband's killer, laughing together, toasting together. And in that moment, I didn't recognize Liam. That wasn't my son. My son used to hold my hand at the cemetery every anniversary. My son used to say, "If I ever find out who did this, Mom, I swear." He never finished that sentence. Now I know why. My son wouldn't hug the daughter of the man who killed his father. My son wouldn't look me in the eye for 2 years while I lit candles and cried in the dark. My son wouldn't let me plan a wedding with that woman, let me pay for half of it, let me stand up in front of everyone and give a speech about how blessed I was to be gaining such a wonderful daughter-in-law. But he did. All of it. For 2 years. 730 days. I turned, looked at him one last time. I wanted to see the little boy who used to build pillow forts with me, the teenager who cried on my shoulder after his first heartbreak, the young man who told me at his father's grave, "It's still just us, Mom, always." He wasn't there. Just a stranger in a tailored suit with his father's killer champagne in his hand. I walked out, got in my old sedan, and I drove. I didn't go home. I didn't call anyone. I didn't have a plan. I just drove west, highway after highway, town after town. I stopped for gas somewhere around midnight, bought a bag of chips and a bottle of water, kept driving. About 6 hours later, I hit a small beach town I'd never heard of, population maybe 3,000. A main street with a diner, a hardware store, a library, and a little bookshop with a blue door. I found a motel called the Seabreeze, paid for 3 nights, slept like the dead. The next morning, the morning of the wedding, my phone blew up. Liam called 17 times, texted 11 times, voicemails, videos. I didn't listen to any of them at first, but eventually curiosity got me. The first voicemail, "Mom, where are you? Sienna said you felt sick and went to lie down, but you're not in your room. Please come, I need you here." The second, "Everyone's asking about you. The photographer wants family pictures. Mom, please call me." The third, "I'm getting really worried. Did something happen? Are you okay?" The fourth, "Mom, please, just tell me you're alive." The fifth, I love you. Whatever's wrong, we can fix it. Just come back. I typed back one message. Don't ever contact me again. Then I turned off my phone, went for a walk on the beach, sat in the sand and watched the waves for hours. I didn't cry. I didn't think. I just watched. The tide came in. The tide went out. The sun set. The stars came out. And for the first time in 2 years, I felt like I could breathe. That was 3 years ago. 3 years, 2 months, and 11 days. Not that I'm counting. I live in that beach town now. The motel turned into a long-term rental, which turned into a little cottage 2 blocks from the water. I run the bookshop with the blue door. Bought it from the old owner when she retired. Best decision I ever made. I've got a cat named Franklin. He's orange, fat, and opinionated. He only likes me, hisses at everyone else. I respect that. I cut my hair short, stopped dyeing it. It's mostly gray now. I wear comfortable shoes and read whatever I want and close the shop whenever I feel like it. I look like a different person. I feel like one too. I never told anyone where I went. Changed my number, deleted my social media, blocked everyone from that old life. As far as anyone from back then knows, I vanished into thin air. I sometimes wonder what they think happened to me. Maybe they think I'm dead. Maybe that's easier. Last week, Maya showed up. You remember Maya, Liam's best friend from college. Sweet girl. Used to come over for Thanksgiving when she couldn't afford to fly home. I taught her how to make my grandmother's stuffing. She called me second mom. She walked into my shop last Tuesday, just appeared in the doorway like a ghost. She looked older, tired. There were circles under her eyes that hadn't been there before. She didn't say anything at first, just stood there, staring at me like she'd seen a ghost. Then she sat down across from my counter and slid a newspaper across. Headline: Socialite Sienna Vance arrested for fraud and conspiracy to commit murder. I read the article 3 times. Let me tell you what it said. Kenneth Vance, the man who killed my husband, wasn't just a drunk driver. He was a criminal. Deeply, thoroughly, creatively criminal. Embezzlement from his own company, money laundering through a chain of fake charities, witness intimidation. They found evidence he'd paid off or threatened at least 7 people over the years. Tax fraud, insurance fraud. The FBI had been building a case against him for 4 years. And Sienna? She wasn't an innocent bystander. She was running her own parallel operation. She'd been targeting wealthy men for years, charming them, marrying them, then draining their accounts and threatening them into silence if they tried to leave. Liam wasn't her first. He was her 5th. The others were too scared or too ashamed to come forward. The only reason she told me about the accident? She wanted to hurt me, to watch me crumble, because she thought it was funny. She'd been planning to tell me at the wedding reception, right before the father-daughter dance, but she couldn't wait. She was too excited. She wanted to see my face. Maya told me the rest. She said Liam left Sienna 6 months ago, after the first charges came out. He'd been defending her up until then, telling everyone it was all lies, that she was being framed, that he believed in her. But then the evidence started piling up. Bank records, recorded phone calls, testimony from one of her previous victims. He couldn't pretend anymore. He's been in therapy twice a week for the last 8 months. He's lost about 40 pounds. He doesn't sleep well. He's been looking for me nonstop, hiring private investigators, calling old family friends, even posting on social media, asking if anyone had seen me. He sold his condo, he quit his job, he's been driving around the country just looking. Maya told me what he said to her. She wrote it down because she knew I'd want to hear the exact words. I looked at my mom every day for 2 years and lied. And the worst part is, she trusted me completely. Completely. She never doubted me. She never questioned me. She just loved me like she always had. And I repaid her by letting that woman into her life. I let Sienna hug her. I let Sienna call her mom. I let Sienna stand next to her in family photos. And all the while, I knew. I knew what Sienna's father did. I knew who I was toasting at the rehearsal dinner. I knew, and I said nothing. He was crying, Maya said, the whole time. I killed that trust, he said. I killed it and buried it, and I don't know if I can ever dig it back up. But I have to try. I have to find her. I have to look her in the eyes and tell her I was wrong. I was so wrong. And if she never forgives me, I'll understand. But I can't just let her disappear. She's my mom. Maya asked me, "He's your son. Aren't you going to see him?" I sat there for a long time, my hand on that newspaper, looking at Sienna's mugshot. She looked different without the makeup and the perfect hair. She looked ordinary, almost plain, like the monster underneath had eaten away the pretty shell. I thought about Liam, about the little boy who used to hold my hand, about the teenager who promised to take care of me, about the man who chose a monster over his own mother. And here's what I told Maya. I love Liam. I will always love him. He's my blood. He's the baby I held in my arms at 3 a.m. when he had colic and wouldn't stop crying. He's the little boy who drew me pictures and said I was the best mom in the whole world. He's the teenager who cried on my shoulder when his first girlfriend broke his heart. None of that ever goes away. It can't. It's part of me. I took a breath, let it out slow. But love isn't supposed to make you betray the dead. David's body was barely cold before I had to plan a funeral. I raised that boy alone. I worked 2 jobs, sometimes 3. I put myself through night school. I put him through college. I gave him everything I had, emotionally, financially, spiritually. Every single thing I had, I gave to him, and he repaid me by looking at my face every single day for 2 years, knowing the truth and saying nothing. Maya was crying. I wasn't. He watched me cry on the anniversary of the accident. He watched me light a candle every year and talk to David's picture. He watched me hug Sienna and tell her how grateful I was to have her in the family. He watched me pay for half that wedding, thousands of dollars, money I worked for, money I saved, money that should have gone toward my retirement. And he let it all happen because he was scared of losing a woman whose father killed mine. I looked Maya right in the eyes. I'm not saying I'll never forgive him. I probably will, eventually. But forgiveness isn't a light switch. It's not something you can just turn on because someone says sorry. It's a door, and the person who broke it down has to be the one to rebuild it. Not with words, with time, with changed behavior, with proof that they understand the weight of what they did. Maya whispered, "He does understand. He really does." "Maybe," I said. "But understanding isn't the same as becoming. He's not there yet. He's in therapy. He's looking for me. He's saying all the right things. But that's the beginning of the journey, not the end. He has to walk the rest of it himself, without me holding his hand." I stood up, walked to the window, looked out at the ocean. "Tell him I'm alive. That's all. Tell him I'm safe, I'm healthy, I'm not alone. And tell him this. One day, when he truly understands that love isn't supposed to erase betrayal, when he's done the work to become someone who wouldn't make that choice again, I'll be here. But not today. Maybe not this year. Maybe not for a long time." Maya asked, "What if that day never comes?" I turned back to her, smiled a little. Not a happy smile, just a tired one. Then I'll still be here, and I'll still love him. From a distance. But I won't pretend anymore. I've done enough pretending for one lifetime. Maya left after that. She hugged me for a long time, told me she understood, even though I could tell she didn't fully. She's young. She hasn't lost what I've lost. I don't hold it against her. The bell on the door chimed. She walked out. I watched her get into her car and drive away. Then I went back to shelving books. Franklin jumped up on the counter and demanded attention. I gave him some tuna from the can I keep under the register. He purred. I pet him. The afternoon went on. And here's the thing, my friend. The thing I want you to understand. Some people think I'm cruel. I know that. I've imagined what they'd say. She's his mother. How could she abandon him? He made a mistake. Doesn't he deserve forgiveness? Family is supposed to stick together. And maybe they're right. Maybe I should forgive him faster. Maybe I should let him come here and cry and apologize and hug me and make it all better. Maybe that would be the Christian thing to do, the motherly thing, the human thing. But I spent 28 years being the strong one, the forgiving one, the one who smoothed everything over and put everyone else's feelings first. I buried my husband. I raised a child alone. I showed up to every school play and every parent-teacher conference and every broken heart with a smile on my face, even when I was falling apart inside. I am so tired of being the bigger person. My husband died alone on a dark road in the rain because someone was too drunk to stop. He didn't get to say goodbye. He didn't get to see his son grow up. He didn't get to grow old with me. He just ended in an instant because of a choice someone else made. And the two people who knew the truth, my son and his bride, decided my peace of mind wasn't worth the truth. They decided my grief was a manageable inconvenience. They decided I could keep smiling through yet another betrayal. They decided their comfort was more important than my reality. So now, I'm choosing my own peace. For the first time in my life, I'm not putting someone else first. I'm not waiting for an apology that might never come. I'm not holding my breath for a son who chose a monster over his own mother. I'm just living, quietly, on my own terms, with my books and my cat and the sound of the waves outside my window every morning. I drink my coffee hot. I close the shop when it rains. I read murder mysteries and don't feel guilty about it. I've made a few friends, not close ones, but nice ones. People who know me as Elaine, the bookseller, not Elaine the widow, not Elaine the abandoned mother. And honestly, I've never been more at peace. Does that make me cruel? Maybe. Does that make me selfish? Probably. Does that make me a bad mother? I don't know anymore. I honestly don't. All I know is that for the first time in 30 years, I wake up in the morning and I don't feel heavy. I don't feel like I'm carrying someone else's weight. I just feel light, like I finally put down a burden I didn't even know I was carrying. Maybe that's wrong. Maybe I'll regret it someday. Maybe Liam will show up on my doorstep and I'll crumble and take him back and we'll pretend none of this ever happened. But I don't think so. I think I'm done pretending. So that's the story. Every ugly, heartbreaking, beautiful bit of it. That's why I left. That's why I never came back. That's why I might never go back. Now, you wanted the long version. You got it. My hand's cramping from talking so much. Pass me that water bottle, would you? And maybe don't look at me like that. I'm fine. Really. I'm better than fine. I'm free.